vehicle of concentrated God stuff. You are the formed expression of the infinite unformed. You are a singular manifestation of all that is. You are a perfect creation of the Creator of all. You are a point of light of the eternal sun. And since you are the mighty ocean in a drop of water, then you have the power of the ocean at your fingertips. The power of Godness is at your disposal. And because you are the formed expression of the infinite unformed, then you have the power to form, to manifest from the infinite unformed yourself. And just as the Creator made you, its perfect creation, you are a creator as well. And since you are a singular manifestation of all that is, then it stands to reason that all that is part of you. And there is nowhere that Godness ends and you begin. And finally, because you are a point of the eternal sun, it is therefore your birthright to shine. It is your birthright to shine. And so it is. I just invite you to take a few more gentle breaths and continue to feel that dynamic life energy flowing through you perfectly. And when you're ready, I'm going to invite you to gently open your eyes, feeling alert, yet relaxed, energized, yet at peace.
Thank you, Barbara. I offer a special music moment. This is a piece by the most famous, historically known Irish harpist, Turlough O'Carolan, who lived from 1670 to 1738. This is a famous song of his called The Butterfly.
To get the ketchup out of the jar, and during her struggle, her landline rang. And so she asked her 4-year-old daughter to answer it. And she could hear her daughter saying, "Mommy can't come to the phone right now, she's hitting the bottle." I realized that was an outdated joke, because some of you don't know that ketchup came in glass bottles, and then I had to make it a landline. So it made sense, I tell you, good fun. I'm so pleased to be here this morning. And talking about one of my favorite subjects. And so I thought I'd leave that in by this. I love Rumi, and so Sufi mystic. And this is when he talks about us. I love this little poem he wrote here. Although you appear in earthly form, your presence is pure consciousness. You are the fearless guardian of divine light. So come, return to the root of your own soul. You were born from the rays of God's majesty when the stars were in their perfect place. How long will you suffer from the blows of a non-existent hand? So come, return to the root of your own soul. You are ruby encased in granite. How long will you deceive us with this outer show? Oh friend, we can see the truth in your eyes. So come, return to the root of your own soul. Soul of all souls, life of all life, you are that. Oh, I just love that. Isn't it good? We're rubies encased in granite. And granite's not that bad even, but we're rubies inside that. I just love that. And it made me think of ways back. I was talking with a Unity minister, and he told me that one of his congregants came up and said to him, I like Unity, it's okay, but you've only got 5 principles, and they are very deep. And now when someone says that to you, the trick is don't laugh. Because they're sincere, and that's, I get that. And he said, and I thought, yeah, I don't know about any of you, but I think I'll have this lifetime of I'll be busy. And so I was thinking of our second principle. First, unity, God's everything, it's all good. Okay. Second principle, that's what we are. We are that divinity as well. Actually, we say it more eloquently in Unity. We say, human beings have a spark of divinity within them, the Christ spirit within. They're very essences of God, and therefore they are also inherently good. I just say, we're God. It makes it simpler for me. Plus, the spark business doesn't work for me so well because I was a lousy Girl Scout, and my fires would go out. And so the idea of the spark is has the potential to go out, and we're not that. We are. There's no place where godness ends and we begin. It's not an arrogance thing. It's an owning thing. In fact, I think to deceive ourselves in any other way is not helpful. St. Augustine said, people travel to wonder at the height of mountains, at the huge waves of the sea, at the long courses of rivers, at the vast compass of the ocean, at the circular motion of the stars, and they pass by themselves without wondering. We are the most incredible creation there is. And I really like mountains and valleys and lakes and all that kind of thing. But we're amazing. And if you're not feeling amazing all the time, it's okay. There's no judgment in this. But it's my aspiration to be what I was created to be. So here's some questions to ask yourself. No judgment, and don't raise your hand. Okay. Are you filled with energy, creativity, vitality, joy, and enthusiasm for your life? Do you feel the power of God's presence in your life on an ongoing basis? Are you experiencing the flow of God's blessings and abundance? Are you manifesting your heart's desires? Do you feel like you are living on purpose, sharing the gifts you came here to share? Now, if your answer is yes, which I know there are some yeses in the room here because I recognize some of you, wonderful, continue on. And if your answer is sort of well, sometimes, good, that's okay. And if you're not sure, then I love Reverend Johnny Coleman says, if you know it, you show it. So if you don't show it, then honey, you don't really know it. Just in case you're wondering. Okay, if your life is not showing all those things yet, good news, it can. And that is just a little flag that waves that says, I could be a greater expression of the divine than I currently am. That's all it says. So we get to be really gentle with ourselves. You know, this is not a race. This is not, this is coming into more of who we truly are. And if you're not quite sure where you fit on this, then I always ask myself these 3 questions, and they're helpful to me. Am I making a decision from fear? If I am not living from my highest expression of who I am. Am I treating myself like a priceless ruby? Yeah, sometimes no. So that's a good reminder. And then, am I minimizing my presence, my value? Am I playing small? None of us are here to play small. That doesn't mean we have to be loud, but it means that we get to let our light shine. And so, Emerson said, there's no planet, sun, or star that could hold you if you but knew what you are. These people are not wishy-washy. You notice this? Rumi and Emerson, they're not saying, sorta, and maybe sometimes, and some of you. They're saying all of us. This is our birthright of who we are. I love that. So when I was thinking about, I had all kinds of things come to mind, but this was a wonderful poem that was written by J. Ann Sint. And I thought it fits sometimes. We can say it to each other. I know the truth about you, though you may be in denial. You need not build a case, for you're not on trial. I know the truth about you and the pain you feel inside, fighting to maintain illusion, but you can no longer hide. Because I know the truth, and the way I can tell is having been there myself. I've lived in the same hell. I remember the guilt and the shame, always feeling so crucified, so that every action somehow had to be justified. Oh, you been there? I have. Mm-hmm. I am not your judge or jury here to give you some sentence, nor am I a priest demanding your repentance. I know the truth about you because I know the truth about me. We are perfect children of God. It is the light in you I see. No matter how you try to cloak it, though your seeming sense of lack, no matter how you try to repel it, seeing only injustice and attack, I see the light in you, a beam of divine perfection, shining so brightly from you I can see my own reflection. It is the truth of who you are. It is the only thing I know. It is, was, and always has been, though you struggle with letting it show. So I will be vigilant in doing the part that is mine and know the truth about you, whether or not you let it shine. We get to do that for each other, don't we? And if you have a partner in unity, I've got a partner in unity, which is helpful because then when one of us is not feeling like shining, the other one reminds us of the truth of who we are. That is very, very helpful. And if you don't have a partner that's in this next room, in the same household, we come here so that we can partner together. I always tell people, when you're feeling lousy, people like to stay home from unity. I said, that's the day you got to come. You really do, because that is when you want to be here. So that because there's no requirement that says you have to be expressing your divinity to walk in the door. At least I didn't see that. Anyway, because we come here because we can remind each other, we reflect for each other the truth of how amazing we are. And sometimes we forget that, don't we? There was a story that Emmett Fox tells, and it was about a citizen. This was back a time ago. And the citizen was taken off to jail by this giant, humongous jailer. He was very ferocious looking. And he was taken to the dungeon, so it's time of dungeons. And he was brought down the stairs and went around the stairs, going down, 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 and then he was pushed into the cell, which had this huge door that slammed shut and clanged. And the jailer with his big foot-long key went away. And the man lived there in misery for 20 years. And the only thing that would happen is every day the jailer would come down the stairs and swing open the creaking door and throw in a jug of water and a loaf of bread. And finally the man said, I've had enough of this. I do not want to live like this anymore, but I can't commit suicide. So what I'm going to do, the next time the jailer comes down, I'm going to attack him. Then in self-defense, he'll kill me, and I'll finally be free. So that was his good plan. So he thought, he thought in the morning, because it usually came about noon, so in the morning he was going to inspect the door to see what was going on, because he wanted to be ready if he could hide behind the door when the guy came in, so he could, jump on him, and then it would be over with. And as he was inspecting the door, he came to see there was no lock on the door. And he pulled it, and it opened. And he went up the stairs. And there were two guards up there, and they kind of just looked at him and didn't pay any attention to him. He kept walking. And he walked across the lawn to the bridge over the moat. And there were more guards there at the bridge. They didn't pay any attention to him. And he walked home. And he lived the rest of his life happily ever after. Because he was only jailed in his own mind. I don't know, have you ever done that? I've done that. Where it was my own mind that kept me prisoner and kept me limited of what and who I am. And I have a dear friend, her name is Lynn. She lives in California. We met, I guess that's 32 years ago. Okay. Anyway, a long time ago. And because we were both applying for the same job. And I flew out to apply for it, and she was the local person. Well, you live 50 miles from home, you look much more attractive. And so I got the job. And I went there the first day, and she was there. And she came up and said, I knew she was the other applicant for the job. And she said, whatever I can do to make this work for you, I am here for you. And we became fast friends forever. Well, I was back after, and so that's back when I worked in codependency and counseling and so forth. But then I became a minister, et cetera, and I would fly out and visit with her. And she had an interesting comment for me once when I'd been, in ministry for a few years. And she said to me, Barbara, do people really listen to you? Yeah. And what she meant, and I understood, is because from her perspective, she couldn't imagine that people would take me seriously because I did not look like the ideal that she thought you had to look like in order to be treated with respect. Luckily, that didn't stop me. And because if you're waiting for the right number on your scale or in your checking account or whatever, because then you're going to be the divine expression that you are, you're wasting a lot of time. And perhaps the focus, can you imagine if I'm waiting? Yeah, I'm good. We can't let whatever anyone else thinks about us or what we have adopted from how they think about us, because I didn't take it on. When she said it, it really kind of cracked me up. And I must say, Lynn, I should always bring a picture of her. She's gorgeous. She's like California blonde, well, if she had her whole 2 sacks of flowers, she'd probably weigh 100 pounds, that kind of, she just, she is what in our culture says is absolutely beautiful, and you can go out and then you can be. And as they told me early in my life, you have a face for radio. Yes. I know. Well, now they got podcasts, you're stuck with my face. The thing, if anybody tells you something limiting, well, can you imagine if I'd let that limit me? I'm sorry, I'm going to just, be very shy and demure and not say a whole lot. Well, for one thing, boy, you'd be tired of listening to me all the time. Imagine, I would never stop at home. But if there's something that holds you back, we don't want that to be there. And if you've got, my first husband, who's now in a different realm, he said, and he used to work with disabled people. And so part of his job was he would go around the country and give talks to people with disabilities. And he would tell them that he was not impressed with their disabilities because he said, quite honestly, everybody's got at least 3 disabilities. And some people, it's their personality. And that's really a tough one to work through. And he was telling them, everybody's got something going on that is not at the level of how they would like their exterior presentation to be. Let go of it. He was never impressed with that, which was obvious because one of his major issues, he was a major stutterer and he's traveling around the country guest speaking. He did not let that stop him. And so if there's any way that I look for the areas where I might be holding back because I have some preconceived notion. It's like, forget it. We get to be the amazing divine beings that we're here to be. Course in Miracles says, you are the work of God. God's work is wholly lovable and wholly loving. This is how you must think of yourself in your heart, because this love is what you are. Really amazing. I used to call myself a professional lover, but I could get confused. So I don't say that. People might misunderstand. But that's what I am. That's what we all are in some way, aren't we? We're professional lovers. We're here to be the love of the divine in expression, however it should express from us in any given moment. And if I'm not that expression, well, that just tells me what I need to be working on right now. I need to get back into balance. If you'll come over and bring some bowls for me and get me back in, that'd be perfect. And whatever it is we need so that we can be that expression, the divinity that we are. Because anything less is just a waste of time, isn't it? And time is precious. I really value my time. And I value my time in this beautiful body. And we all have these beautiful bodies that move us and allow us to interact. And so we want to really celebrate them. So I thought I would close here with, it's a short little, it's a poem that was written by Reverend Jim Rosemurdy, and he's a Unity minister in Florida. He said, "There was a time when I thought God walked beside you, but now I see God moves with every step you take. There was a time when I thought God loved you, but now I feel you are the love I often speak of. There was a time when I thought God had blessed you, but now I know you are Spirit's blessing for me." And that's the truth of who we are. I get to do whatever I want here, so I'm gonna ask mothers, would you please stand? Our mothers, but this is a day we really want to honor. Oh, look at these beautiful mothers. Oh, aren't you all just beautiful? Well, we celebrate who you are, for your unique life journey may not have been an easy one. Yet look how far you have traveled, how much you have grown, how much you have learned, the great love that you have given, and all that you have created in your lifetime already. We celebrate your many strengths. We celebrate your triumphs. You are the kind of woman who, in the face of adversity, has continued to embrace life and has walked fearlessly through life's challenges. You are a truth seeker, and you have stepped up to rule your domain, whatever it is, your body, your home, your office, your family, your creativity, and you have ruled with a tender, loving heart. Continue to give birth to new ideas and rejoice in your motherhood. For you are daughters of the universe here to love. It doesn't matter what you have been through, where you came from, who your parents are, or what your social or economic status is. None of that matters. What matters is how you have chosen to love. How you've chosen to express that love through your children, through your family, through your relationships, through your creativity, through all you have given the world. You have accepted the challenge of motherhood, and for that we say thank you, thank you. And so it is. Can we give a round of applause for our beautiful mothers?